Well, welcome to my life. At least what I've been doing essentially this past whole week. So, ran into a little bit of a snag with my map here. You can see there's a giant chunk missing. That's because I've started converting everything over to data packs, meaning copy and pasting all the commands I've worked out, and it's done wonders. Obviously, it's really mowed down the little tick lag issue that I was having. For instance, we can hop out, we can jump into a normal vanilla plus world. Still have to work on a title. I think I'm going to go with Rune Chant and lean heavily on this whole enchanting vibe, because the majority of what I've built is like special enchants mostly. So yeah, so tick lag here. It's basically double, and we've so far only cut out 2 systems, although they are probably the most intensive. The weapon enchant system, so there's 30 different enchantments here running constantly, as well as I'm currently working on their visual effects. So depending on which enchant you have, it glows a little on the sword, or well, item, whatever you actually enchant. So yeah, I don't know at this stage if I want to convert everything over to data packs and then just scrap this whole hub idea. I mean, it means I don't have to load the chunks, I don't have to clear out anything below. I can sort of go find a nicer location than this. Heck, it can just launch it as a data pack. You don't actually have to find a significant world. But there are a few complications. So, for instance, stuff like the mob ability systems and the boss ability systems, they're on 3 different timers, so to speak. So they each use a different formula to work out when to actually trigger the abilities. So if I were to put them into data packs, I would then need to come up with a way in the data packs to trigger them. So for instance, right now, the easiest way to sort of explain it is this column lights up on a given value, same with this, and this, and goes around. There's 16 different columns that can light up, and that is essentially how I've split the different mob abilities. So every mob and its abilities have been split between those 16 different outcomes. I could honestly make it a lot better through data packs if I were to give, certain values to each ability in itself. So I could make them all completely independent. That way nothing triggers at the same time. But that's also not a great thing, because it would still take a lot to figure it out. So with data packs, you can set it in 2 ways. You can 3 actually, technically. You can have a command block running the data pack, which in fact, it's easier to show off with this data pack testing. So we can use a command block here to run the function command, and then we can trigger any of the data pack functions, or this little tick function, which is any that I assign, and then I'll run them every tick. Or we can do it load, so when the world first loads, it will run X functions. Obviously, both don't really help me in terms of the boss abilities or mob abilities, because I don't want them running every tick. I want them running every now and then and triggering in a sort of random mechanism. So if I were to make them into data packs, I would then have to either come up with still a command block system, so essentially the same system. I just cut out all the command blocks above the little random generator. So, I'm on the wrong side. So the columns that I was talking about being filled in before, which I've actually, have I covered them up? I have covered them up. Is it? No, I'm still on the wrong side. This is it. Yeah, so I'd just have to change these to the different functions and then split up. I could come up with a function data pack Word document, however you want to explain it. Again, I'm learning data packs. So when I started this, I was learning commands, and now I'm learning data packs. And it's still, some stuff goes over my head. So, to sum up, I think it would be a bit too complicated to create a random system using data packs. It can be done. There's probably an easier way than what I can sort of come up with off the top of my head right now. But all in all, the only way I can think of doing it is to split everything up and then call upon the with command block still, which then, defeats all purpose. Yes, we cut down on the activation lag, but because these are not running constantly, the lag that they're generating isn't significant. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the majority of the commands. So anything that's running on a set timer. So for instance, these also go. Validation. So we go ahead and run one of the data packs I've converted. So this weapon art FX. We turn it on. Yeah, look at that. So I made it into a data pack, and it is not better than how it was as a command block structure. So that is atrocious. That is worse than any of the other commands I have running as a data pack. So how many commands is it running? So only running 546 to be fair. If I change it to one of the lesser ones, for instance, Weapon Crate has a fair few. It has 304, and it is causing nowhere near as much lag. And of course, if we compare it to the normal version, so this world here, if we go ahead and turn on the weapon effects, so we'll let that load, but it's essentially this giant system down here, this giant tower, that will pulse on and off and essentially add a particle effect to the weapon of your choosing. So if we go ahead and turn it on, obviously the baseline is a lot worse in this world. We go ahead, turn it on. You can see it doesn't spike that much. Obviously it's still bad, but it doesn't spike like the data pack. Despite these constantly running. So I think every 3 seconds, it's literally cycling through this as like a giant tower. Go ahead, turn that off. It's just filling in the columns here. So if we do something like this, yeah, you can see them sort of disappear one after the other. So they're all constantly running, but it's not as bad as the data pack. So data packs aren't always a solution. There is merit to using both, and the right answer is half and half, not one over the other. So take that. I was not penalized for making command block structures first. Too bad I already deleted this from that other world, so it's like half-half. I will convert. I'll keep converting data packs. I think this one would be better, and the one up there, and then obviously I'll just have to bulldoze whatever in this world I don't need anymore. Fun. Getting there. At least it means I don't have to convert everything over to a data pack, because it's not a better solution. Feels good to be validated. I like being right.